Hi, it's Pastor Jono here. A few weeks ago, we started trying to do something that I was calling Stump the Pastor. And I figured we would continue with that and maybe make that a weekly thing for Thursdays. And I did get a question last time around that I wanted to try and answer today. And this one comes in and it's about worship. And the question was, why do we recite creeds during worship? The Apostles' Creed, the Nicene Creed. Um, and I just wanted to take a few moments to answer that or try to answer that. In the Lutheran Church, we have three what we call ecumenical creeds, and they are the Apostles' Creed, the Nicene Creed, and a less familiar one that's called the Athanasian Creed. And really, to know why we say them, you kind of have to know the history. All three of them probably came about during the early church. The Apostles' Creed is probably the one that we know least about. There's some evidence that it existed around the fourth century, but you know no one's quite sure when the earliest appearance of it was. Some people think that the apostles themselves wrote the Apostles' Creed, and that there are 12 different pieces of it to represent the 12 apostles. Um, I don't really know a whole lot about that, but the Nicene Creed, on the other hand, we do know a pretty decent amount about. Um, not just where it came about, but actually it came about during the First Council of Nicaea, which was an ecumenical council, and the Nicene Creed comes to us uh, June 19th in the year 325. I think it's neat that we have the actual day that we're able to ascribe it to. And then the Athanasian Creed is believed to be attributed to Athanasius, who was the Archbishop of Alexandria. And really, all three of those creeds were written at different times, but right around that same time. And the idea was that from the earliest days of the church, it was kind of like the kids game, the telephone game, where you tell something to one person, and then that person tells it to someone else, and that person tells it to another person, and it goes around in a circle, and when it gets back to you, you see if it's the same thing. uh, the early church was kind of like that, but rather than going off in a circle, uh, it was going off in different branches, different communities, different churches being started by different people in different places. And so, with each new branch, things were getting a little bit less united. And so each of these creeds was put together by different people trying to unify the church, trying to dispute heresies, things that they thought were not true, but really trying to unify the church, trying to come to a consensus about the things that everyone could believe. Um, and so, you know, over the years, those creeds have been held onto. And again, we call them the ecumenical creeds because they're not just Lutheran. Most major Christian bodies ascribe to one or all of these creeds. There are some that are only interested in the Apostles' Creed, some that are only interested in the Nicene Creed. But most major Christian bodies follow along with one or the other. And the wording that we use, sometimes I've gotten questions about or from folks who remember in previous wordings that it we said we believe in one holy Christian church, whereas now we say we believe in one holy Catholic church. Catholic is a fancy word for universal, in case you've never heard that before. And when that switch happened from Christian to Catholic, again, it was something that was based out of building unity. We like to be able to say that we can hold at least these things in common about what we believe about Jesus and what we believe about God. And so, the question of why we recite them in our worship is that same sort of thing. It's a reminder of our Christian unity, that whether we're Lutheran or Catholic or any other denomination, we have these certain beliefs that we hold in common. It's a protection against heresy. You don't necessarily have to believe every single piece of one of the creeds. Hopefully we're all growing in faith at any given point. But it's also this way that we're able to say, if you don't believe this, if you don't believe in God as the Holy Trinity, maybe this isn't the right kind of church for you. We hope that's not the case, but again, it's to protect against heresy, to protect against folks who don't believe the same things we do. And most importantly, with the Apostles' Creed showing up in Luther's Small Catechism, it is a teaching tool. It helps us to again give those key ideas of the faith along to people as we're nurturing their faith, as we're helping them to grow in their faith and become stronger in their Christian faith. So when we say those words during worship, we're saying them, as I introduce it, with the church across the world and across the ages. Those same words are being recited by Christians and churches all throughout the globe and all throughout history. And so that should be a really neat thing for us to think about as we say those. So that's my answer in a nutshell. As to why we have creeds. Like I said, each week I'm hoping to answer one faith question. We're calling this Stump the Pastor. So comment on this video or comment on Facebook and let me know what question you might want me to tackle next week. And I will certainly do my best to share with you in that way. It's a great time to ask those sorts of questions that we all take for granted and maybe have never really thought about. So I hope you are all well. And I hope to be able to engage with you in one way or another in the weeks to come. So have a wonderful evening. Bye.